Hey everyone, it's Ish Gaming here, and today we're diving deep into a question that plagues many. How much RAM do you actually need? Whether you're rocking an older system or building a brand new rig, RAM is a crucial component that can make or break your user experience. We're going to break it down, gigabyte by gigabyte, and see exactly what each RAM capacity can handle. By the end of this video, you'll be able to confidently choose the right amount of RAM for your specific needs and budget. Alright, let's start with the baseline, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now this used to be considered plenty, and for some users it still is. If your digital life revolves around browsing the web, checking emails, scrolling through social media, and maybe doing some light document editing in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, then 8 gigabytes can still hold its own. Think of it like a small car, perfect for zipping around town but maybe not ideal for long road trips. You can get from point A to point B, but you might experience some lag or stuttering if you try to do too much at once. Imagine having a couple of browser tabs open, maybe streaming some music in the background, and then you decide to fire up a game, even a less demanding one. This is where 8 gigabytes starts to show its limits. You might experience longer load times, applications could become sluggish, and you might even run into the dreaded low memory warnings. So 8 gigabytes is enough for basic tasks if you're on a tight budget, but don't expect to push it too hard. If you're looking for a smoother, more responsive experience, especially if you like to multitask, then you're going to want to consider stepping up to at least 16 gigabytes. Now we're moving into the territory that I, and a lot of tech reviewers, consider the sweet spot for most users in 2023: 16 gigabytes of RAM. This is like upgrading from that compact car to a spacious SUV. You've got the room to carry more, do more, and handle whatever life throws at you. With 16 gigabytes, multitasking becomes a breeze. You can have multiple applications open simultaneously, from demanding programs like Adobe Photoshop and Premiere Pro to a bunch of browser tabs and Spotify playing in the background, and everything will still run buttery smooth. Students, this one's for you. Imagine working on a research paper with multiple documents open, browsing the web for sources, and maybe even editing a presentation on the side, all without your computer breaking a sweat. Gamers, 16 gigabytes will also serve you well for most modern titles. You might not be maxing out the graphics settings on the latest AAA games, but you'll be able to enjoy smooth frame rates and an overall enjoyable gaming experience. Even content creators dabbling in photo and video editing will find 16 gigabytes to be a solid starting point. However, if you're serious about content creation and working with large files, you'll definitely want to consider moving up to the big leagues. Okay, we're getting serious now. 32 gigabytes of RAM is where we enter the realm of power users, hardcore gamers, and content creation enthusiasts. This is like trading in that SUV for a high-performance sports car. You're pushing the limits of what's possible, demanding the best performance, and you're not afraid to put the pedal to the metal. If you're someone who edits 4K video, works with massive Photoshop files, or runs memory-intensive applications like virtual machines, then 32 gigabytes is your new best friend. It provides the headroom needed to handle these demanding tasks without breaking a sweat. Gamers who want the absolute best experience, running games at the highest settings with all the bells and whistles turned on, will also appreciate the extra horsepower that 32 gigabytes provides. This is especially true for games that are known to be RAM hungry, like open-world titles and those with complex simulations. But let's be real, 32 gigabytes is overkill for most everyday users. It's like having a Ferrari to just drive to the grocery store. Sure, it's nice to have the power, but it might not be the most practical use of your resources. And now we arrive at the peak, the summit, the Mount Everest of RAM: 64 gigabytes. This is like having a fleet of rocket-powered spaceships at your disposal. You're not just playing the game, you're creating it. You're not just editing video, you're pioneering new visual effects. 64 gigabytes of RAM is reserved for the most extreme use cases, the true titans of their respective fields. Think professional video editors working on feature films, 3D animators creating stunning visual effects, and software engineers developing complex applications. For these individuals, every second counts. Rendering times need to be minimized, complex simulations need to run smoothly, and massive datasets need to be processed without a hitch. 64 gigabytes provides the peace of mind and the raw power to make it all happen. But let's be clear, for 99.9% of users, 64 gigabytes is overkill. It's like having a nuclear reactor in your basement to power a light bulb. Unless you're working on projects that truly demand this level of performance, you're better off investing your resources elsewhere. So there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the RAM landscape from the humble 8 gigabytes to the mighty 64 gigabytes. Hopefully you now have a clearer understanding of how much RAM you actually need for your specific workflow and budget. Remember, it's not just about having the most RAM, it's about having the right amount for your needs. Don't overspend on RAM you'll never use, but also don't limit yourself with too little. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more tech breakdowns, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for watching.